And we're on. So, hello, Miss Pina.
Hi there. Yes, hi there, Lee.
How have you been?
I'm fantastic, actually. No complaints. I'm alive and well and good, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Working away, and I'm happy.
You know what?
Yes.
Considering today's climate, that is a very positive attitude to have.
Right? No, I'm actually doing quite well. I'm super blessed and grateful for everything that's been going in life, and I have no complaints whatsoever. So it sucks what we're going through. It does, but I mean, you try to take the good with the bad and just kind of see things in more of a positive light. That's all. That's the way I see it.
Yes,
So
I think
it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's not easy at all. But I mean, like everything's good. There's no complaints. Like, I mean, I have no complaints. I don't. I'm good. I'm really good, actually.
right, and I hopefully it's the type of thing where it creates more appreciation for what we had and what we will have once again.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is, right? So when there is some type of normalcy right now, it's like, go with it. It's so good. And it's so, I'm so happy that, sun's shining and you get to be outside, backyard, whatever, what it may be, and have a nice, you know what I mean, glass of wine. It's perfect. To me, there's no complaints, right? So
For sure, absolutely. So,
how are you? How's everything with you? Good?
I'm pretty much the same as you. I have like so much of an appreciation for everything. I mean, technically, this would have been the fifth year of like the Midday Fix social.
I know. I miss it so much.
So
I miss it so much.
that and Dovercourt and everything like
Oh,
that.
I know. I feel you. I feel you.
That
I feel
was
you.
that was a that was a tough one.
That was like a complete like shock to the system. That's for sure, 100%. Because you thought that everything would go back to normal as soon as everything this is all done. You just track back to Dovercourt on a Sunday for me is what it was. That was my go-to.
Right.
And it's now not happening anymore. So it does.
Right, and it was that something to look forward to, like once the madness was all over. But I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
we'll get back and we'll find our
I
way.
know. Absolutely. There will be another there'll be something similar to a Dovercourt. Not
Right.
another Dovercourt, sorry. I didn't mean to say that, but something similar to Dovercourt, right?
Everybody's gonna know what you mean.
Exactly.
Okay, so you ready for these questions?
I am.
Okay, so question one. So what's the first song that you remember that sticks out where you were like, okay, I need to learn how to dance to this? Now, if you don't remember the exact name, we'll take the artist.
It not Ricky Martin. Excuse me. Um, I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and Ricky Martin came up. Um, Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband. What's his name? Anthony. No, Mark Anthony. That's who it is. Mark Anthony.
Mark Anthony.
And it's a slower song, and it's called Le Pierdes something. It was a Mark Anthony song. Multiple Mark Anthony songs, actually, to be totally honest with you. Mark Anthony was like a huge. I knew Mark Anthony was when I wasn't a salsera. So the minute that I started understanding that his songs were like, oh my God, this is salsa. Oh my God, I can dance to this. I know this song and I can dance to this salsa. That's when. So Mark Anthony was my first song and artist that kind of made me, wow, like, you know what I mean? That I remember, absolutely.
For sure, for sure. And that's the same for me as well. I won't lie. Mark Anthony.
Right? Like, he's like, just like, yeah, absolutely.
What was and when was your first dance lesson?
So my first dance lesson, if you're gonna talk like group lesson, or are you gonna talk like real one-on-one type of person teaching me how to dance?
You can give both if you like.
So my very first group lesson was at El Rancho, downstairs, Friday nights. And that was my very first lesson. And it was with Fernando, and I'm going to say her name was Christine back in the day. Like we're going 14 years ago that was my first, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 14. That was like, I went every Friday to learn a dance, like to go and be taught by them, me and my girlfriend Lisa at the time, and we would go religiously every Friday for like we went for almost a year. But my very first one-on-one teaching with somebody, that was with Ronald Gomez from Strictly Salsa.
Okay.
And he asked me to dance one time, and I actually he asked me to dance, and I danced with him, and I had seen him dance, and I was like, I don't dance like you, because I automatically thought that how you danced is how you talked. So I was like, you're a crazy dancer, and I can't keep up with you. So he was like, well, you know, I teach and so on and so forth. So he gave me his card and so on and so forth. And then I ended up calling him, and I started taking lessons with him. So he was my very first person that taught me how to dance one-on-one as well. So those are my two firsts.
Ronald, strictly salsa,
Strictly
right?
salsa, yeah, absolutely, strictly salsa.
Great
yes,
dancer.
Yes.
Okay, so you just mentioned Ronald. So is that technically like the first school that you joined?
Yes,
Your part?
strictly. So from taking lessons with Ronald Strictly Salsa, then I joined Strictly Salsa, the actual the salsa group, and it was Ronald Gomez. It was Albert Gomez, along with their grandfather, who recently just passed away, God bless his soul, Alberto as well. And it was, it was literally being taught different routines and just going to their group lessons to kind of fill in the group lessons and be another person helping them teach other people. I would assist Ronald in when a man or a woman wanted to learn how to dance, I would assist him in the teaching. So yeah. A lot of like fun corporate events we did that it was kind of like everybody all involved group lessons. Like I missed that. Now thinking about that, you're bringing me down memory lane. And
that's the goal.
Like going to weddings and corporate events, and dancing merengue with people, and like what I mean. It was so much fun, salsa and performing. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that was my first group, my very first group. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so. Who's the first person that you saw? It would probably be a female where you were just like, as soon as you saw her dancing, they were just like so incredible. Where you're like, I want to be able to dance like that. I want to get to that level.
I got it. You know who my person was? It was literally at Babalu's, and I saw Sophia Skaversky is her last name? Sophia
Jeez.
I saw Sophia, and I saw her, and it's funny because the story is she was dancing at the time. I didn't realize, but she was dancing with Ronald. So I thought in my mind that the person that you're dancing with makes you dance like that, and that's why she danced the way that she did, right? Because I was completely. But then realizing, like looking at her lines, the way she spun, and this is like, we're going back like exactly like 13, 14 years ago. And I just thought that Sophia was the cat's meow. I still do. I love her to bits and pieces. Her dancing is incredible. But at the time, it was like her performing, everything about Sophia is great. But it was Sophia that I saw that I was like, whoa, I want to dance like her is what it is. And that's exactly that yeah, absolutely. It was Sophia, 100%. I owe all my like wanting to dance because of Sophia, 100%. And she probably doesn't even know this, to be honest with you, but I owe it all to Sophia, hands down. Yes. I loved her turns, her spins, how elegant her lines were, how I could tell that like she was engaging her core, everything, the way she danced. At the time I didn't know, but then understanding when being taught how to dance salsa, I was like, this is so hard. And to be able to dance elegantly and beautifully, and you know what I mean, all the right steps. Yeah, totally. Sophia, that was my go-to in the very, very beginning. And then I quickly had other like woman salsa dancer crushes in the Toronto scene, of course, always in the Toronto scene. There's so many women that I looked up to dancing when starting to dance. So many women I looked up to. But Sophia was like my main person that I was like, dancing salsa, like her, I love it. Yeah, that was her.
That's a phenomenal answer. And
right?
and then as you were like learning, I bet it kind of creates like more of an appreciation like for just how
Oh,
good she really is.
really, how great she really is. 100%. Yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, this stuff does not come easy. Like, especially because I wasn't a dancer to begin with. I had to, be taught
Right.
everything, and it wasn't like I grew up dancing. I did ballet up until I did ballet when I was 6 years old, and
Okay.
I asked my parents, what now, like recent, like when I first started dancing, I was like, why didn't you keep me in ballet? Well, Pina, you would cry every time we got there. You didn't want to go. And I was like, and you listened to me? Like, the one thing that you shouldn't have listened to was keep me in ballet so I could be like technically better, and my spins would be, and like just elegance, and like, like just, nope. They took me out of ballet. So I didn't, I literally started dancing at like 24 years old is what it was. I started dancing at 24 years old. So yeah. But anyways, yeah. So that's
That's an awesome answer. So what do you remember about your first social dance?
my first social dance. What do I remember? So maybe I'll tell you about like the first time that I walked into a salsa club.
Okay.
That's what I can tell you. So um, the first time that I walked into a salsa club was Latin Fever, Hewlin Highway 7. Do you know what that is? No. It was
Oh
like, yeah,
snap!
like that. Yeah. So just to make you understand, Latin Fever, it's kind of like two parts. And I remember walking in again with my friend Lisa. We walked in, nobody was there, just this couple, and we grabbed a drink at the bar. We sat down, and this couple decided to get up and dance. And I tell you, when they got up to dance, I was like this. I couldn't believe, like, they were doing these hand things, and they were only dancing merengue. At the time, I didn't know, but they were just dancing merengue.
Right.
So it was just 1, 2, and it was just very basic stuff that they were doing. But I thought it was like the most intricate thing in the world, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to learn how to do that. Oh my gosh. And then that obviously was a flop, and it was me and my friend Lisa, and she had her friend with her, and he said, well, we can go to Babaloo's. And I was like, no, we can't go to Babaloo's. That's where the Olympians are. Like, you know what I mean? We can't go there. And he was like, no, go, we'll have a good time, we'll go. So I walked into Babaloo's. It was a Friday night, and the feeling when I walked in was, I walked in and people were dancing with each other and just laughing and smiling. And as I was watching everybody and I stood there, I was like, I need this in my life. Like, I need this in my life, Lee. Like, it was like an epiphany, like just kind of like, okay, so you're doing this and you're going to do everything in your power to learn what these people are doing. So my first experience was fantastic. I went to Babaloo's. It was a Friday night, DJ Julio spinning. And I was just greeted by so many people, guys, girls, girls who were pleasant, guys that wanted to like legit teach you how to dance. Like, you know what I mean? This old man came up and he was like, I'll teach you. And I was like, I don't know how to dance. And I had the best time with him. Both old man short, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was loving my life dancing with him. And I just said to myself when I left, I was like, so this is it. This is going to be my hobby, and I'm going to learn how to salsa dance. So that was my very first experience. Like, I need this running through my veins. Like, it was something that I just needed is what it was. So
That's cool.
my first. Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about your first performance?
My very first performance, really performance.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean like performance, like wedding, or like competing performance, like actually
Oh no,
on stage?
it could be first performance experience, regardless
So
of what capacity it was at.
Yeah, my first performance was at a wedding.
Okay.
At a wedding, I was with Ronald, and I remember, and I had the whole routine down packed, and I remember right before they called our names on the dance floor, like we were to walk toward the dance floor, my heart started beating, hyperventilating. I felt faint. I was gonna faint, and I remember saying to him, I'm gonna faint. And he was like, no, you're not. Calm down, breathe. We're gonna do well. And that was one thing that I always did was positive vibes, and like before getting on the dance floor, because I was like, oh my god, I'm so nervous, and that was every performance that I ever did. I'm so nervous, and I was always nervous performing, but I loved it. I loved doing what I was doing. I didn't essentially like the performing part of
Right.
Salsa. Like, I literally became I wasn't a performer. Like I didn't like performing. So I remember feeling faint, and then I remember doing the performance. A few hiccups here and there because I was so nervous. And then I remember the feeling afterwards. I felt so accomplished, and I was like, I can't believe this is my first performance. It was like a huge deal for me, and it was a very it was like almost like a roller coaster feeling, like, you know what I mean, like the whole time. And then when it was done, it was like, oh my god, I want to do that again, like, you know what I mean. So that was my very first performance. It was I was very, very nervously, super nervous, like to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. This is not for me. I can't do this. And he was like, we can't back down now. We have to do this. It's like done. Like, we have to go out there. So yeah, it was very, very, very nerve-wracking for me. Yes.
I don't think that feeling ever truly goes away.
Right? It does. And if it does, then you're not excited about it anymore. And it's not something that runs through your heart and your veins like it should. You know what I mean? I agree with you.
I agree with that, what you just said.
I agree totally.
Okay. So, there are different ways to take this next question.
Okay.
It can be just out of like respect. It can be something you saw on YouTube. It's not limited to, it can be somebody local, man, female, doesn't really matter. Could be in a movie that you saw. But who was your first dance crush?
Oh, my first dance crush? Carol Flores. 100%. She was like, I saw her and I was like, Yamule, and I was like, what? Spinning, and just her, like, hands down. There's no, like, I mean, again, that was my first crush. There's so many people based out of Toronto, New York, Italy, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, all around the world, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, but like my real, true person, Carol Flores, yeah. 100%, hands down. Just, the fact of how well she did in Yamule, and then the way she's become a boss lady with her own tribe of like Carol Flores, like, you know what I mean? Like she is, yeah, to me, she's fantastic. And she doesn't just teach you about dance, she teaches you about history, like your body movement, like the way, and like everything comes together. Like stretching is so important, like, you know what I mean? It's not just, you know, steps, like, you know what I mean, and moving your arm, like, you know what I mean. She goes nitty gritty about the dance. So it's my like, yeah, big ups to Carol, because she was my very first person that, like, 100% like salsa, and it was like, there's people out there that dance like that. She's amazing. Yeah. And then that was like very quickly when I first started dancing. It was like all about Carol. Yeah, 100%. Yes.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
So, what was your first dance festival or congress, and what do you remember about that?
My first dance festival or congress was it was my first festival, truly and really, was the Canada Salsa Congress. Okay. And I'm going to say I wasn't, it was maybe the second year of me started dancing.
Okay.
I never went, my first, like, the festival, like, I didn't realize that there were so many dancers around the world that were such amazing, crazy dancers. Like, I was like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from France. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Italy. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from the UK. And it was remarkable and these were just regular people visiting to see the Canada Salsa Congress. But it was my second, I'd say it was 2000, I don't know what year it was, but I know that it was probably maybe 2 years into dancing, because the first year it was very like, it was about all about going to, like, Friday nights, Babaloo, Saturday nights was like, it was very commercial salsa dancing. It wasn't like real salsa dancing, is what I mean, in the sense of like more reggaeton, like, you know what I mean, more Latin clubs. I didn't do really salsa clubs, is what I'll say. And then as like I got to know salsa a little bit more, I was like, no, I want to go to this festival, this Canada Salsa Congress, and it was remarkable. I couldn't believe I didn't see any of the shows. It was the following year that I saw the shows. But the first year I just went strictly for dancing, and it was like 3 a.m. and I was still dancing and I couldn't believe the time. And it was so, like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm still dancing and I'm not really, I don't want to go home. Like, I want to still stay here for this. But yeah, it was about my second year into salsa dancing that it was the Canada Salsa Congress, obviously by Jennifer Apointe. So yeah, so that was my very first time that I was like, this is incredible. Like, people do this and they make it their lives, and it was incredible. Yeah, and just watching people from around the world just kind of like, they're different. Like, they're not from around here, and you could tell by their dancing, you know, that they were a different type of salsa dancing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? How Italy's different and Puerto Ricans are different, and like, you know what I mean? All kinds of, everybody salsas, but in their own different way type of thing. Yeah. So that's what I remember. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Okay, so what do you remember about your first Congress performance?
Congress performance was with New Skin. The Vancouver Salsa Festival, back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I think, because from Strictly Salsa, I ended up joining New Skin, the very first New Skin, and that was Mira, Nadia, the two New Skin.
Right,
and then
right.
It was Sophia. I was with Sophia. I was with Jenna.
Okay.
And I was with
Jenna.
Alma, yeah, and Penny, and myself. So it was, yeah, it was the six of us. And my very first Congress performance was that, and that was like real deal. I flew to Vancouver on Friday and left on Sunday because I could only get a flight for the 2 days. I couldn't stay very long because of work. I had to work on the Thursday night and still make it back for the Monday. So I left Friday to Sunday to perform with New Skin. And it was the most, like I said, roller coaster. I was so nervous. I was making the girls nervous. I apologize to all two ladies now, because Mira was like, Pina, you need to be positive and be, you're not nervous. You have to, you think positive. And I was like, yes, you're right. So it was such a beautiful experience dancing with those, all of those ladies who I look up to in so many ways, as friends, as salsa companions, as mentors is what it is. But yes, the Vancouver Salsa Festival, yes, it was something that I'll never forget. Never forget. New Skin ladies, it was quite remarkable. Yes, glorious is what it was. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you remember about your first International Festival of Congress?
So international, I've never been overseas anywhere to fly out anywhere like overseas. I just remember going to the New York Salsa Congress, and
that counts.
Yeah, okay, then there you go. New York Salsa Congress. That was with that was with Pam, and my good friend Pam, Michelle, Evelina, and we all decided to go. We got a weekend. We went there for the weekend, and we all stayed in a hotel. And I remember not having the best time at the New York Salsa Congress, just because I didn't get to dance with as many people as I thought I was going to dance with, Lee, and that was very disappointing. If you didn't add, like, I guess if I was too shy to ask anybody to dance, but I wasn't dancing with anybody. And then there was a really tall guy, and I'm talking like tall. And one of the girls said, go dance with him. And I was like, I'll ask him to dance. Like, I don't care. I'll ask him to dance. So I remember dancing with him. And it was such a delightful, I still remember this. I'm so glad you brought this up, because I remember dancing with him and having such an amazing time. And people were staring at us because I literally reached up to his waist. That's how tall he was. And we were dancing, and I was having the time of my life. And then after dancing with him, and I was like, ladies, I'm good. I'm going to go back up to the room because I'm not going to be dancing with anybody else. So I remember, yes, it was the New York Salsa Congress back, I'm going to say maybe, again, 10, 11 years ago to 9 years ago. But it was it was a good experience, just not what I expected. I expected to dance more, but I didn't dance as much as I wanted to because I'm all about dancing, right? All about dancing. I want to dance my shoes off, you know?
Okay. So here's a question. It's kind of layered, okay? But who's the first international dancer that you danced with? And or it could be it could be the same, it could be separate. But who's the first international dancer that you danced with that made you nervous?
Okay, nervous?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be from Grupo Lafia,
Oh.
Italians, and it was the first person I danced with was Simone. Simone is what it was. I was extremely nervous dancing with him, extremely nervous. But he was my very first dancer with the Grupo Lafia. Yes, yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then I remember he said, "Pina's amazing. You should all dance with him." And then I danced with every single one of the Grupo with Francesco, with Marcelo, and then the last person is oh man, I can't think of his name right now. I can't think of his name right now, but it'll come to me as it goes on. And I danced with all four of them in the same night. So it started off with the one, feeling super nervous, and then it then sequenced into all four of them. So those were like I was like, I couldn't believe I was dancing with them, but I was, and it was fantastic. At least for me, it was fantastic. Maybe not for them, but because I sucked and they're amazing. But like, you know what I mean? Back in the day is what it is. Yeah. So those were that was Grupo Lafia, I'll say.
Okay, we're getting close to the last couple of questions. These are the last few. So in an ideal, perfect world, when things open back up and we're all able to like be together again, who is the first person, either local or international, you would want to have that first dance with?
Ooh. My first dance. Ooh, Lee, this is hard. My first dance is either I wanted to be with oh mamma mia. I'm gonna say, because he's one of my favorite dancers, and I always love dancing with him, is Jesse, Alicia and Jesse. He's one of my favorites. Miss you guys both, by the way. But Jesse would be Jesse, or another one that I love is Tofik. Tofik is another guy that I love dancing with. He was
he's really good.
He was religious, Dovercourt always.
Yep.
Tofik is another dancer that I miss dancing with, hands down.
And I just want to throw this in there. He used to be religious midday fix as well. Just saying.
Yes, Tofik, 100%, absolutely. I remember. Yes. But between those two are, and I'm probably missing, or my go-to always. Wait, Danilo. Danilo's my go-to. He's my, like, you know what I mean? My salsa brother is what he is. So Danilo as well. So it's between the three of them. But I'm so glad I remember Danilo, because if he watches, he'd be like, "What the hell?" I always say, "I miss dancing with you, Danilo. I miss dancing with you." So yeah, I'm so glad that between the three of them, I hope that the first time that we're able to go out, all three of them are there, and then I can dance with any of those. Lee, woo, I'm not thinking properly is what it is, but yeah, there's a few. I can't really. That's why I gave you three people, because there's nobody. I'll dance, like, at this point, if we're able to dance again, I will dance with anybody. Okay, it's not even about, like, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, I would be happy to dance just with anybody, because dancing at home alone by yourself isn't cutting it for me anymore, eh? Watching videos and this and dancing to on my own. I need to dance, like get spun 43 times, you know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? I just need to be sweating, and yeah, that's what I really need that. I need that. I need blisters on my feet again. I miss those. I never thought I would miss those, but I do. So yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So last question. So as you know, we lost Dovercourt House. So I just want to ask, what is your first memory of Dovercourt?
Ooh, my first memory of Dovercourt was Sunday social. That was my first memory of Dovercourt.
Okay.
And I remember going to the Sunday social and walking in, and it was jammed. There were so many people in there, and I remember going, and it was in the middle of the day. It was in the middle of the day, like not in the middle of the day, but it was around 7 o'clock, still light outside because it was warm outside. Yep. And I remember thinking that this is the most incredible thing in the world, because you're still doing what you love to do, but you're not getting home at 2 a.m.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like most, you know what I mean? And I remember going straight, like, so walking right to the back and then going straight to the bar, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I remember Diana was there, not Andy at the time, but I remember Diana, and I remember ordering a drink from Diana. Very pleasant. And I remember turning my back to the bar and watching Dovercourt, and I just couldn't believe that it was in the middle of the day and you were dancing salsa, because I was so used to, and Dovercourt, I hadn't gone to Dovercourt. It was maybe a year and a half after I started dancing that you start, like, you know what I mean? It was Alley Cats, 6 Degrees,
yes,
Bubaloos.
Yeah.
It was Regatta for me for a while. It was Friday nights. It was even.
You used to go to Regatta Thursdays?
Yeah, Merlot on a Wednesday sometimes. Not the whole. In the beginning, it was because Wednesdays was way too high class for me. So I was going to, and On the Curve on Wednesdays.
Damn.
Fridays was always Bubaloos on Fridays. Rancho sometimes, but Saturdays was Plaza Flamingo for me. Plaza Flamingo all the way for me back in the day. And Sundays was Dovercourt. It then became, it was always Bubaloos, because Sunday, Cuban nights on Sundays for Bubaloos back in the day for me, at least the latter part of Bubaloos. And then it was, and this is, I'm talking when I used to dance every single day. I danced every single day. When I first started, my mother thought I was nuts, but I needed it. I needed to dance. You needed to dance. It's that cycle that you go through as a dancer, that you start off, you don't sleep properly. Yep. You're thinking about dancing. You can't wait to leave work to go dancing. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. That was me. But I remember Sundays, I remember looking, and I couldn't believe that it was light outside and people were dancing, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing to be able to. And then when I remember leaving, and I was like, it's still early, like it's only 10 o'clock, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I know that I would be able to still get a good night's sleep for my Monday, you know what I mean? Yep. For waking up at work. So that's what I remember. I remember not so much dancing, because I had been around dancing, but I remember saying to myself that it was so smart that it started at 7, or we got there, it was 7:30, and then it was a good 2.5 hour of dancing, and then I was like, I'm good, like, you know, I feel good, like, you know what I mean? I feel like I got there at, 11 and left at 1 type of thing, and like, you know what I mean? So it was a really good feeling. That's what I remember about Dovercourt, because it was, you know what I mean, the Sunday social, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't the Sunday night social, it was the Sunday social, you know what I mean? Yes. So yeah, that's what I remember. But I remember everybody being very chill, and there wasn't security at the door. There's no security at the door, which I was like, and you didn't need security because there was no fights. People don't fight at door, like, right. Altercations, like not very much, at least in my days. So yeah, that's what I remember. I remember just being really like, wow, like, this is such a great place to be. Like, I could take my parents here, like, you know what I mean, type of thing. That's what I thought. You know what I mean? So I remember that about Dovercourt. Yes,
definitely was that type of place where
it was just a good vibe. Yep. It was just so good. Lee. It was so good, such a great place. You could take anybody, anybody there, and they would have a good time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I remember, like, it was. I missed Dovercourt tremendously. I missed it so much, so much.
I even one time brought my brother there, and he couldn't understand like the concept of it. And he's like, with all people like changing partners and everything like that. He's like, I don't know if I like this.
I know, it's weird, right?
You just have to be in it to understand. But
right?
That was the last question.
Wonderful. Lee, thank you so much for having me be a part of this. I'm so thankful that you reached out to me, because I thought that this is fantastic. It almost made me feel like, I don't know, I was dancing a little bit, or like my mindset was like, you know, at the clubs, like, you know what I mean, dancing. Remember my first. This was fantastic. I think that this was wonderful that you thought of this.
Well, thank you, because you know what? I think we get so caught up in it that we don't really get time to look back at the journey and like all those little stages that we went through, right? So
yes, absolutely.
Plus, you know, keep that feeling going inside here as far as dance, until we get back to it anyways.
100%. Yes, 100%. Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. And
I hope to be dancing with you soon, very, very soon.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. I hope to be dancing with you very, very soon, that all this kind of just disappears and goes away, and we can go back to our normal, everyday salsa dancing. At least for me, now it'll be 3 times a week is what it'll be. Before it was maybe, it's funny because I never thought that this was ever going to happen, that you start slowing down your going out. I wasn't going to the midday flex as much as I should have been.
Right.
Lee? Like, you know what I mean? And you just kind of like, oh, there's always next week. And then this all hit, and it's been a long time. It's been for me, it's been over a year over a year and a half that I haven't been out dancing.
Same with a lot of us.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? But yeah, okay. Well, thanks again, Lee.
All right.
I appreciate it so much having me a part of this. Thank you so much. I hope you're well, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you for doing this once again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, take care. Ciao.